Hello, my name is Andres Canelones, and this is my group's presentation on our software requirements specification document for our application SmartTrip. First, I want to start by talking about what is SmartTrip. SmartTrip is a learning algorithm based program that can help users decide which places to go, which places to visit, in what order when they're traveling or when they're planning on traveling somewhere. Um, they can adjust these generated schedules depending on their budget, the time they'll stay at the place they'll be traveling, um, the place where they'll stay, and other different parameters. The application pulls data from a database and it creates a profile of the user that contains her preferences, past trips made by the user, and other feedback from the user, like when a user reviews a site nicely, when they don't review it nicely, what, uh, as I said before, what is the budget of the person who's traveling. And based on all these parameters and on other information that the application pulls, uh, specifically reviews of places that can be pulled from databases such as the Foursquare database or Google Places, um, the application generates a full schedule of the places that the person should visit. Uh, this includes places like restaurants, museums, other attractions, um, and it does this in a way that it fits the person's schedule and budget perfectly. My team, the Smart Trip Development Group, is composed only of two people. Me, Andres Canelones, performing as the project engineer, user interface developer, web developer, and general programmer. And Gabriel Pinedo, he is in charge of database development, security development. He works on the integration with the different services that the application will use, and also as a general programmer.
What our application aims to do. People when traveling often feel disoriented when traveling abroad and they are unsure of what places to visit. And most of times they don't know much about the place or don't know or need recommendations re- according to what they like or dislike. Our application will have streamlined travel schedules, will be used to suggest the user where places they must go based on their preference. It will help the users to avoid the so-called tourist apps and help them saving money in all the aspects.
In the beginning, SmartTrip will be a web application only. We have plans to introduce it later on into the different mobile platforms because we feel its functionality really shines in these platforms. But for the beginning, we intend to just have it on the web because it serves as a launch pad for us to develop the functionality that we want and then translate that into other platforms. The application is mostly a self contained product. It does not depend on other systems to work for the better part. It is not part of a greater system of products, and it features a modern, clean, easy to use user interface. We feel that this is a central aspect of our application, one of the most important characteristics of it. In terms of actual functionality that our application provides, this is in order of importance. First, it generates trip schedules with an intelligent algorithm that learns from user preferences. It holds a database of places of interest for tourists, and it these places contain uh, ratings, reviews, and contact information, other characteristics such as photos of the place, and it allows users to, once they have generated a schedule through the application, they can modify this schedule to their liking. You know, move the order of places around, remove places. They can save these schedules once they have edited them, they're happy with them. They can share these schedules, invite other people to join them into this trip. And then once they're done with their trip, they can go into their user profile and they can check out all previous trips that they took and review the schedules that they used.
Our main targets for users will be people who enjoy traveling, mostly on tight budgets and constrained schedules. We found that most of these users will be around 18 to 29 years old, since these people are tending to travel more. And basically, in the end, our application will focus on general, like everyone.
The application will have a user account system, and through this system, the people who use our application can register. Um, they can edit their personal information, log in, log out. As I said before, browse their previous trips and their previously used schedules. And they can connect this account to social networks for sharing purposes. Um, the main purpose of the user account system is for the people who use our app to have a central hub where they can find all the information that the application has on them. The functional requirements for the user accounts feature are: users shall be able to register with their email addresses or with a connection, an integration with a social media network such as Facebook or Twitter. Two, the database will contain all the user account information in a secure and encrypted manner. Three, users can edit their personal information, such as their name, their age, email address, and location, and they can also opt out to give some of this information, the perhaps most sensitive information, such as age and location. 4. Users can add tastes and dislikes to their profile, and the system will use this feedback as a way to generate suggestions of places to visit in the future. 5. The application can receive the user location information from the browser after receiving consent from the user. Of course, this requires that the user is visiting our application through a modern browser that supports the capabilities of sharing location information. 6. The user the user profile shall not store credit card information whatsoever. We do not have any sort of in-app purchases, and we feel that having to store credit card information is a great liability for us, and so we want to avoid that. And finally, the user shall be able to log in and out at any given time.
Place. Places are the base of all features in your application. They are things like restaurants, parks, venues, museums, and any other attraction. The point of this application relating to places is to filter where this person would like to go based on their preference. For example, imagine that you'd go to a country full of museums, and there's several types of museums, but you prefer historical museums than modern art museums. The application will know this, and the application will say you're gonna go to this museum and the other. It's not recommended for your preference to go to the other one, but is another suggestion. The application will give suggestions and say to the user what they preferably like, and using this in the other features will create the best trip for the user based on their profile. The application will have a database containing all places and information for these places like name, address, pictures, reviews, and contact phones in order to the person know exactly where they are going, and if they need some information will be able to contact the place. The application will connect to Foursquare in order to fetch place information when the place is not found in your local database. Users will be able to search for places. Each place will have a profile screen in the interface detailing all the information and reviews and any other advantage that the user will be able to get. Users can favorite places to save them on their user profile. Users can add reviews, pictures, and price information to the place, making this the application more user friendly. Users will be able to help users when you visit a place and a person is going to visit. This person will see, oh, I already know someone that visits, or this random person already visits and review this place. This price is like this. Oh, they're changing the price, and the person will know more about the places, updated constantly.
The trip schedule planning feature is the core functionality of our application. It provides lists of places to visit, and these are structured by date and time, and they are generated according to different parameters provided by the user. It also derives these lists based on external inputs, such as ratings of a place by other users, um, the price range of the place, the proximity of the place to the travelers, the users' place of stay. And we expect that this will be the most used feature in our program, uh, the feature that users spend the most time playing with. The functional requirements related to the trip schedule planning feature are the following. 1. The algorithm that generates trip schedules shall take the following input from the user: the town that they're visiting, the date of arrival and the date of departure, the type of budget that they're traveling on, whether it's tight, normal, lax, where they're staying, be it a hotel, um, a rented house, etc. And what type of trip is this? Whether it's a solo trip, could be a business trip, a romantic trip, a trip with friends, a family trip. 2. The algorithm will take into account the following input that is taken from the application's local places database to filter certain places from the schedule generation. The ratings of the places, the proximity of these places to the user, the type of places, and the price range of them. 3. Users can modify generated schedules by adding and removing places, switching the order of these places, etc. 4. Places profiles shall be accessible by clicking on the name or picture of the place once the schedule is generated. 5. Users may be able to generate multiple day schedules. 6. Users can print the schedules. The printed schedule shall include basic information of places that are included in the schedule: the name, the address, the phone, email. It will include as well the places printed in the order of the visit with timestamps, and the map of the relevant area with all places as pointers on the map. The printed schedule shall have a printer-friendly format. This means that users will not be spending a lot of ink when they print the schedule. It will use fonts that help save ink. It can be generated in only black and white so that users don't have to spend their color ink. And all this in a way that the schedule remains readable for users. 7. Users shall be able to save a schedule in their profile where they can access it later. 8. Users will be able to share their schedule in their connected social media sites such as Facebook or Twitter, where they can show other people their trip, the trip that they're doing. And this can also increase engagement in our application. 9. Users may invite other users in the application to join them in the trip schedule via email or directly sharing them through the user accounts feature.
Schedule map. The application will be able to generate a map with an overlay of the places in the schedule and the overall routes to be taken. The application will use the Google Maps API in order to generate this map, since their database is updated constantly. The map shall be generated automatically after the user approves the trip schedule. The map will use Google Maps backend and API to generate the map, decide what route should be the user take, and generate the route overlay. The map overlay will pinpoint the different places in the schedule, and the user shall be able to access the profile of each place by clicking on it. The user shall be able to zoom in, zoom out, and interact in any other ways with the map. The user shall be able to print the map, maybe if they don't have internet or in their phones in hands when they're going to travel, they can print the map and carry on their hands. The map shall update itself if a user modifies the schedule later on. For example, something happens on their travel, so they decide to go to one place that was planned on the evening, on the morning. So the map will reroute the schedule in order to fit on this new schedule.
It's time we talk a little bit about the user interface. As I was saying before, the application will have a modern, clean, and easy to use interface. And through a combination of modern web technologies like HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript, we will create an interface that is fast, that is interactive, where users can drag and drop items and do other modern web browser interactions with it. We will use many common UI elements found in many modern apps so that new users can feel more acquainted with the interface of the application. The welcome screen is the screen that users see when they first enter the website. It invites users to log in with their Facebook account or to create a new account with an email address. It has a simple dialog where users can input the location where they're traveling to. They can set the arrival and the departure. And they can search for schedules that have been created, or they can get a newly generated schedule. In the schedule editing screen, users get the list of places that the system has generated for them in the order that it has put them. They can see the names of the places, the time they'll spend on each place, and they can edit the order of visit by moving the places around, and they can even discard places from the schedule. It features a large map above where users can see the geolocation of each place in the schedule. After they're done editing the schedule to their liking, they can save the schedule, they can print it, and they can also invite other people to join them in the schedule. In the places sidebar, this is an element that will appear in all the different areas of the application. Wherever a user sees a place, they'll be able to click on it and they'll get this sidebar. So in this sidebar, they'll see a larger picture of the place and its name big. And they'll get more specific information about the place, such as the address, contact information. They'll see the reviews from users, and they'll be able to dismiss this sidebar by clicking on the X button at the top right corner. It is time for us to address the non-functional requirements. Um, these play a vital role in the usability, stability, and general prospects of our application. And so we have divided them into several areas, which we will address now. The performance requirements address the responsiveness, speed, and data processing of the backend of our application. For these, we have the following requirements. 1. Searches performed in our internal user and places databases must not exceed 10 seconds. When the application needs to fetch information from an external database, the entire process must not exceed 15 seconds. 2. Previous searches may be stored in cache during the user session to improve performance and reduce bandwidth usage. 3. Execution of the main trip schedule algorithm shall not exceed 25 seconds and should have an ideal execution time of 9 seconds.
Availability requirements. These requirements address uptime, maximum downtime allowed, server maintenance, and all other factors that can affect the access to the application. Maximum non-scheduled downtime allowed per day is around 15 minutes. In a weekly basis, this is equivalent to a maximum of 1 hour and 45 minutes per week. It is expected that the actual weekly downtime is much lower than this. Maximum allowed time of a scheduled downtime session for maintenance purpose is 1 hour and 30 minutes and this shall only occur during low usage hours between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. EST. Our servers will be located within the United States East Coast to better serve the greater majority of locations where our service is available. A server in Europe is a consideration for the future, since a lot of people planning to travel to Europe on their schedule.
The security requirements address the security of the data inside the database, encryption and handling of sensitive data. For this, we have specified the following requirements. 1. No credit card information shall be stored in our application, period. 2. The user database shall contain password hashes and individual salts for every entry. For generating hashes, we will use PBKDF2.
System architecture. MVC will be our general architecture framework. View. The view will consist of the user interface, composed of dynamically generated HTML styled through CSS. and made interactive and animated with JavaScript. Model. All the application data is contained by the model. It will be stored in several databases. Controller. It is composed of the schedule generation algorithm, the search algorithm for local database, the external database integration system, the user authentication and registration system, as well as functionality for adding user information, places information, social media integration and sharing, and tools for measuring application usage, demographics, and other important data collection systems to better understand our audience.